Give me a sec, guys. 1 second. 1 second. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay. That is there. Throw a thumbnail in there too for you. I don't know what thumbnail is going to use. Dude, I can't even tell what thumbnail I was going to use. Couldn't even tell you. I think I'm just going to use this one. No, I don't need to try anything because what I do for myself personally, it works. So if you need to try something else for yourself, then go for it, sporty. Go for it. Okay. 1 sec. I'm gonna get a drink. Let some more people hop in. We're getting started. I think everything's good to go though. I think I said the description, got the thumbnail, whatever. We should be fine. We'll get started here in a second. Okay. I'm gonna get a Diet Coke real quick. For the sake of today's video as well, we'll be going with the old Hadarooski because I look absolutely bonkers with no haircut. So take it for what it is. Okay, let me bring everything up. I think we're good to go. Will this live be saved? Maybe. I don't know. So another thing I've been thinking about too. So we're gonna start doing live streams again on the channel, on YouTube. I know I've been doing them on option drops, but haven't done those in a long time on option drops. It's a conversation me and Jay have had. I might be doing them on this channel. I don't know, because I post so much on the main channel, and I don't like over posting over there. Like, if I was gonna post more on that channel, I'd post shorter videos just multiple times throughout the day. So I don't really want to do that. And that channel is more about like news, current events, things like that. This channel is more for education. So if I start going live more frequently here, it's definitely going to be centered around like education like this. So like if I even do like a pre-market, something like that, it would all be centered around like still somewhat education. So like, before the market open, things like that. So, yeah, I don't know how to really kind of say that, but it's kind of but anyways, so we'll see. If you have questions, you can ask over here, whatever. So, I'll be answering questions the whole time we're doing this. I don't want this to just be like, you listen in the end, whatever. So really, I kind of want to attack questions that you guys may have based on videos and things along those lines, because obviously there's only so many things I can answer, within a video. And I can't answer specific questions you guys may have. So I kind of wanted to go over a broad amount of, questions that I've seen on comments, and then go beyond that. The first thing though that I will say, and let me actually, should I link this to, I guess I can link it to Twitter. I don't really care. Sec. Cool. It's on Twitter. Whatever. I don't care. Okay. So your biggest thing I'll say right now is I'm not against other people's strategies as far as ICT and all this stuff, right? I may make jokes and things like that. But what I will say is that I am not going to implement other things into my strategy. And you can take this for advice for yourself or whatever you want. I think it's not beneficial to continue to add things to a strategy if it's working for you. Now, if you are journaling and you are noticing that you're consistently missing the mark or missing what you're trying to do, then maybe there's something wrong with your strategy, or maybe you don't understand what you're doing, or there's an underlying issue. Maybe you should just get rid of even if you're like trying to trade based on how I trade. If it doesn't work for you, then obviously stop doing it or understand what you're doing wrong in there. So I always recommend journaling number one over everything. But like I'm not gonna try something else if what I'm doing is working. Like if you know, for instance, Jamar Chase, he's won the Triple Crown. Should he be trying new things necessarily if what he's doing is making him the best receiver in the league? Probably not. So again, I'm not saying I'm the best or anything, but I like my results. I like what I'm getting. Mom always said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So again, that's a common question that I see across my channel is, hey, Tyler, are you going to try this or this? Or why would I, why that's a common issue that I see with traders. You're constantly changing things. And if I'm just saying from a creator point of view, if I'm making content on this platform and for instance, I'm constantly changing the way that I'm trading. That should be a giant red flag to most of you guys. Either one, I'm farming clicks off of trying to do every strategy because I've covered too much of the same thing. Or number two, I don't even have a strategy and I'm just making videos and trying to basically narrate what I think these other strategies are about. So quick tip for you. So yeah. With volume indicator. So first thing I'll do here, I'll probably I need to bookmark this stuff too. Let me I don't know my phone. Here's my phone. I'm actually I will save this and I will go back and I'll make chapters on this as well. So let me go to my notes so I can quickly 7 basically 40, just give or take. Okay. Okay, so first thing I'll go over is going to be indicators. I've done this a lot. I don't think indicators necessarily make or break you. But I'll just start from the top, just really quick for everyone here, so you can see. But yeah, so automatically, I'll start with basically maybe the more boring or the one that I'll get the most questions about. So let me throw myself on the side so you're not in the way. This is our volume indicator. You can use whatever volume indicator you want. There's some really cool ones on Thinkorswim. If you guys use Thinkorswim, I don't know what people use. But if you're trading, for instance, stocks, Thinkorswim is going to be your best bet. Just like an all-in-one package because they have so many cool tools on there. I still do use my broker Moomoo, but I'm just telling you, if you're trying to chart and everything, probably still the best. Beyond that, though, this is a custom indicator made for option drops from Lux Algo. The link should be down below. You can use the code. I think it's we just got the price lowered if you just buy our indicator, so you can use that as well. I didn't custom make it, so I can't sell it at my free will. If I could, I would sell it for $3 to $4, to be honest. But yeah, so I included, you can use Jefe, code JEFE. But yeah, so this is our volume indicator we use. It just makes things really simple to see as far as sellers and buyers. And one thing that I like to do when I'm looking at a chart in general, I like things to be very, very quick. And so you're going to notice someone, and the question I always get is, how long does it take me to overall go over a chart, right? And something that we're doing right now, we're doing our mentorship in Discord, right? And so we do this very rarely throughout the year. But the first few days are always very slow when we're going over our watch list or how we're looking at NASDAQ, et cetera, because I'm trying to break it down slowly. But something that you quickly see is that you get much quicker at identifying these things. And I say this with key levels all the time. The first time you go over them, yeah, you're going to be meticulous. You're going to be overthinking it. And then as you do it every day, it becomes much simpler because the chart kind of explains itself, and I'll go more into that. So I like having our custom indicator because it automatically points me in the direction of sellers versus buyers. There are some versions of this on Thinkorswim. I don't know any of the versions on TradingView. That's why I had them make this custom indicator for us. So that's my volume indicator. And again, I really only use the volume indicator for like scalping, reversals, things like that. So important to know that. Going into the other ones for you, the number one indicator, I would say, like if I had to put one at the top of the list, it'd be VWAP behind volume. I just go into the settings on VWAP and I get rid of all the BS here, in my opinion, like the bands. You don't need that. That's really, you just don't need the bands. It's the stupidest thing in my opinion. I always make it a little bit thicker. And these are the same things that I use in all my daily videos and all my videos. So if you want to make yours the same setting as mine, so it's easier if you watch the daily videos on the main YouTube, whatever it may be, then yeah, I would recommend doing that. So it's just really simple for you. VWAP's always blue for me. It's funny, I talked about this a while back. EMA. For stocks, I still think the 9 EMA is probably like my favorite EMA to use. And I don't use EMAs to judge, to get into a trade or anything along those lines. I'll answer questions in a second. I'm just going over the main question here of indicators, and I'll take some other questions in a sec. But EMA is always going to be 9 for me. But you need to understand that the EMA is not an entry signal for myself. Okay. That's not how I use it. I have a lot of videos going over the 9 EMA. I might make a new one sooner than later. Like an updated version. But what I'll say about the 9 EMA, it's very good for continuation and keeping you in the trade. Maybe against your, like when you want to get out, when you're up, you're like, okay, I want to close this. The 9 EMA is really clear at showing you the trend is still maybe intact if you leave runners, things along those lines. So the 9 EMA, again, probably the least important of all the indicators is the 9 EMA. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, the most important is volume. Second most important, VWAP. And I wouldn't say that these are necessarily less important. It's just you're going to use them less often. So I use the SMA. So this is going to be tricky depending on what platform you're using. So I use TradingView for most of my charting just because I've used it for years. And there's no reason for me to change something if it's, again, working. Also, it's like a little bit of nostalgia. I've literally used it since I was 19. I'm 27 now. So it's like, I kind of just like fear of change in a way, right? So again, TradingView has it as moving average simple. If you're using a different broker, it probably just has moving average, right? But you can't use just moving average on here, just let you know. And so I use this twice. Okay, so what do I use here? Now, there's a few things you need to know. You're going to go into your settings. It's going to be MA. I always have one as yellow. What's my other color? I kind of forgot. Maybe green? Probably green. Okay, I'll go into it in a second. But length. Actually, first thing we're going to do is we're going to anchor it. So you're going to go down to time frame. You're going to anchor this to your daily. I don't care about short-term moving averages. I don't care. Moving averages are not our friend. Everything that we do is based on real time and what is happening in the market as far as volume, price action, buyers and sellers actively in the market. I do not care about what happened. To a certain extent, I don't care about what happened 10 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. That is not really that important to me. I care about where buyers are consistently showing up. And we'll see this using this indicator as well. So again, the number one we're going to use here is going to be the 200. And you're going to see this always on my chart. So yeah, the 200, why is it? Change it. Sorry. Should have been yellow. That's weird. So yellow is going to be the 200. And again, you can actually minimize the blue. Why is it showing like this? What did I do wrong? Oh, it didn't save. That's weird. What is going on? Oh, I'm touching the wrong. Okay, this is bad. Okay, so I'm just messing with the wrong one. Sorry, I have two EMAs here, and it's messing with me. Okay, cool. Sorry. Okay, so that's gonna be a higher time frame, and then your second one is right here as well. I'll change this one to green, and this is gonna be my weekly. Just to let you know, 200 weekly, and I'll get into it here in a second. But again, you'll see as well. And very rarely are you gonna use these. Like I'm gonna highlight that right now. But when you get big dips, these will be very important to understand where you expect buyers to try to show up. Okay, so if I go like to the 4 hour, I can zoom out. Let's actually get rid of all of our indicators so you can just really quickly and easily see, go to the daily actually. And obviously the Nasdaq's in such of a big of a bull trend that you're just not even close to your daily right now. Your daily 200, but you can see you are consistently finding buyers around that daily 200. The weekly is an even bigger level when they cross, very important as well. But again, lots of hedge. I think Charlie Munger said this as well. He literally talked about one of the best strategies of investing. If you spent most of your time just buying good stocks, around their 200 daily moving average, you'd outperform the S&P 500. He said the main problem why people don't do this is due to patience. And obviously trading futures is you're not going to like swing trade futures necessarily. But it's a good rule of thumb of understanding why it's so important. If Charlie Munger, who is a long-term diligent investor, talks about it, like there's plenty of other hedge funds that talk about it as well. I want it on my chart, and obviously you can see the respect that it does entail there. So again, why I'd be using that one. The weekly, more significant in my opinion, but it just rarely gets tested. And this goes into equities as well. We can use, Tesla as an example. Before Tesla had its big blast off, right? You mounted above one, you literally can see, you try to mount it here, failed, got back above, mounted, shot off. I can go a laundry list of names here. NVIDIA hasn't been below its 200 daily in I don't know how long. You can see AMD, which is a very weak stock, but I've been saying this on repeat. As long as AMD is below its 200 daily, you can't go long. It's bearish. It's right above its 200 weekly right now, finding buyers around that area. This makes sense. Again, you can go over this over and over and over and over and over. You can see here, Apple, when it started to get bullish, right? You gapped above, you mounted, you shot up. Again, you'll be able to go, and this is not me nitpicking, just go over a chart. Small caps, maybe you respect them less. I obviously focus more on large cap equities, and then obviously futures. So that's the importance, the logic there. So understand that. That's pretty much the indicators I use. If you need more help as well, and like you struggle with finding key levels, supply and demand, things like that, we have a lot of videos on the channel, and I don't like to just redirect people to go watch this video, do this, and dismiss you. But we have so many. And so I don't want this video or this hands-on answering questions to be just me telling you like the same thing over and over. I can make another video later on, and then I can answer questions on Twitter like I always recommend. If you have questions, just go to Twitter and ask. Like I've purposely tried to do so much on Twitter as of recently. So yeah, take advantage of that as well. But if you still are struggling, you don't know how to do it, I will say Lux Algo, again, this is not me just hyping them up. They have a lot of this kind of automated. I don't believe it's as good as finding the key levels and how we depict them, right? But it's it's the lazy man's answer, in my opinion. So it's still good, but like you're gonna miss out on a few things. However, if you're a beginner and you're really struggling, it will very clearly show you on smaller time frames where these levels are, right? So like on the 5 minute, for instance, right? Your premium, I think your premium and discount zones are probably like the best. It'll just clearly show you where those are, right? And it's kind of common sense, but some people with trading have zero common sense. So I don't really know what to say. But anyways, so that is there for you clearly as well. Sorry, my mic was kind of low. I don't know why. I think my GoXLR reset, but I would be paying close attention to that one as well. So if you're interested, the links down below, and they have key levels and stuff like that. I don't think it's as good. Do what you want. Just letting you know. I'll answer a few questions really quick. So let me see what time we're at. 18. Jesus Christ. Indicators took a long time. 18:30. Cute. Okay. So a few questions, because again, I do want this to be like obviously live and answering these questions. Okay, he says, do you look at the NAS on the 1 hour time frame and enter on a 3 minute, or should I start with a daily? Okay, so Justin Johnson, again, I am not being like sarcastic or like a jerk, but I've never, your question here, not one of my videos have I ever gave the depiction that I do that. I think you have to watch a top-down approach. What does that mean? You start with your key levels on a, obviously a weekly time frame, and then you work your way down to the daily and the 4 hour to find your levels. And then you go intraday, usually into the 5 minute, and then maybe the 1 minute for a breakout to spot volume. But I don't understand this question, because it's like going to a rocket scientist and saying, what do you think about biology? And like asking me biology. I've just never given the hint that that's something that I'm interested in, right? So best of luck. I don't know what that means. And then you might be getting stopped out with your trades, because especially like if you're trying to trade similar to like what we teach here, because you're obviously disconnected from everything that we've taught here. So I don't know. Will Slide be saved? Yes, it'll be saved. Tyler, what's going on, sir? Sun Park, you will never 100% have a winning strategy. That is correct. What's good? Didn't have a chance to see the video, but I'm here to listen. I don't know what that means. How many NQ contracts would you trade on a 50K account? It depends. It depends where you're at. Sorry, I got freaking Siri mimicking every word that I'm saying right now. So it depends. This is a good question. When I'm getting funded, I will tell you right now, my risk tolerance is much higher because the goal is to just get that account funded. We'll tell you right now. When I'm actually in the account funded, I usually stay between 1 and 2 minis personally. I find more consistent success, obviously, with 1 contract. But there are times where I'm very confident in the market that I will maybe go into 2. What I will say about that, though, is that I 1,000% do not hold a trade nearly as long when I have 2 contracts versus 1 contract. So my risk reward typically shrinks dramatically. Basic volume profile is that a VRVP? I'm assuming. VRVP, I'm pretty sure is just different, but yeah. Is the ADMA good too? I don't use the ADMA. So, but if you want to use it, it's gonna be very similar to the 90 MA. What's going on, Peter? How are you trading in the markets closed? If you read the title of the video, yeah. So, yeah, good question, Envy. It turns out today's a holiday. That's why we're doing this and not trading today. Can always be done with the free version of TradingView. You can only have so many indicators on TradingView if you're using the free version. I recommend if you're wanting to use a free platform, I think Thinkorswim is a great overall platform, even if you're not trading on there, and you're using something like Top Step or Tradeovate for My Funded Futures, whatever you're using. I think that TOS is still a very good charting platform, and it's free, and they have tons of stuff. And there's custom indicators, things like that as well. You got to do a little bit of digging, but yeah, like Reddit's going to be your best friend for that as well. So TOS is what I would do for free if I was doing that. And then it really comes down like if you're new or not. That's the biggest thing I'll say. If I was a new trader, I would be using Thinkorswim. But I've just, like I said, I've used this platform for so long that I don't want to make the change. Like it's normal for me. It's like I've gotten up for like the past 8 years. Even when I wasn't doing this full time, this is what I've used. So yeah. What confirmation candles do you look for in a retest for entry? I'll go over this in a second, Big Deli. I did the video last week was really good about this, but we'll go over that here in a second. For the 90 MA, do you use multiple time frames or mainly lower ones? Usually just the 5 minute or the 1 minute for continuation. That's all I care about. I'll go over this in a second, Jerry. How do you avoid fake outs on the retest situations? I'll go over this in a sec. Good question. Can you show an example of how to enter based off of levels? These are all questions I'm about to answer. I love the VRVP indicator, especially for entries. A lot of people using. Yeah. 1 second. Payout question. I'll answer that in a sec because the video I'm going to do this. I'll probably post the video tomorrow, to be honest, instead of a Saturday. I don't know. I really don't know when the best time to post is still. Okay, so the VRVP, it's another good indicator if you suck at finding key levels. Just to let you know. So, for instance, this isn't going to help you too much right now because you're trading in a clear-cut block in a range. But you're going to see there's just so much volume here, but you're not going to get that clear answer. So key levels will help you significantly more. But even if you just do to here, you'll still see it's just trash. But if you're looking at areas, dude, it's really going to be tough for you on NQ in general here because it's just not going to share enough information. It's just not. Yeah, it's going to be trash on it. VRVP is good in certain situations. That's what I will say. And this is going to be a tough situation because it's still not spotting the illiquidity in some of these levels. It's good, but it requires you need to know how to use it. So it's not going to be as simple for me to use it here right now. So yeah. Are you close to any payouts? Are you shooting for end of the month? Okay, so this is a great question. So I've said this a lot with funded accounts. Their goal as a funded brokers are to get you to a live account and then basically keep you there and not have you make funded accounts anymore. Okay. If I'm trading a live account, I would rather trade with my own money on my own broker and have the tax benefits because there are better tax benefits looking more into it now. So once you get to that area in my opinion, you leave the fund. You try to get your money out, you leave, and then you create a funded account again later on if you can. So Top Step. For myself, I'll tell you right now, I always withdraw the max amount of money possible every 5 days. Every single time. I don't set a goal. I'm not saying I want to get to $10,000 on every account first. That is stupid. That makes no sense. That is dumb. Because ultimately, the more money you make, they're just going to get you to that funded position. That's their goal, to get you there. And then like the benefits aren't even there, right? So that's my personal opinion. So yeah. So oftentimes I think the hardest part about the funded process is once you withdraw, typically you know, obviously your portfolio is going to get dramatically shrunk. So once that first withdrawal hits, I usually try to get a little bit aggressive to grow the account a little bit more, just to create more of a buffer, and then I can start trading again for the next 5 days or however long it may be to get funded again. So I'm okay, and I will tell you this over and over. Once you get that first payout on your funded account, I am okay like, again, I'm not telling people to blow up their account or trade super risky, but I'm saying repeating the process of getting funded for me is not very difficult. And I misspoke before when saying it's hard to get funded in 2 days. It's not difficult at all on Top Step. It's really, really, really not, because it's not exactly 50%. It's like 53% in both ways. So that's fine as well. I think people hyper fixate on that part as well, but you have to treat it like a cycle of getting paid from there. I don't want to say you're doing anything shady, because you're not. You're following their rules. But my goal is not to become a live funded trader on these guys. I think it's on these guys' platform. That is stupid. There's no benefits at all right now. The only one that is having a live benefit in the long term will be Tradeify, and we can go into that later. But they're going to have some cool stuff coming up. Top Step is going to start banning people that are avoiding going live. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's not like I'm just purposely blowing up the account. So I'm still getting paid. But yeah, so we'll see. They are making, Top Step is making it though, where you can only have so many accounts per month. So I always, for myself, I keep accounts ready to go on the back burner at all times. So anyways, okay, let's go over a few things as well. What time is it right now? 27. So answer some questions. Okay, so a common question I get is entries, and this is actually a really good question. I think last video I went over a lot. If you watched that video, I recommend going back and watching it. Personally, I think it's one of the better videos that I made, and I really broke down a lot of the questions. And if you want to get the best overall breakdown of, you know, getting in, things like that, I think this video just kind of killed it. So again, it's this one right here again. So yeah, so my easy 5-minute scalping strategy, buyers versus sellers. Really went into detail with that. Okay, but we'll go over here as well. So automatically, everything around my chart, everything that I do revolves around two things primarily: key levels or supply and demand, and volume. That is the most important thing that you have to understand. Within those things as well is what's happening overall with the underlying trend of what's taking place. Now, let's break this down in a few different ways. Now, on a higher time frame like the daily or the weekly, the NASDAQ is clearly still bullish. Now, if you read comments on the main YouTube channel, people will tell you, no, Tyler, this doesn't look bullish at all. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to tell you. You might be deaf, dumb, or blind. I don't know, but that's none of my business. Okay. But if we go into a smaller time frame, like even say the hourly, I could see how this might be borderline bearish. Now, why do I say borderline? Because you're still making higher lows. Okay. And before I can even go into entries, we have to understand how we view the overall chart, right? So I don't just go into a day, I'm just like zoomed in, like, all right, boys, this is it. This is it. No, I have to understand how we're moving and the levels that are at hand, you know, we're based on where we're at. Okay. And so I can see that we're making higher lows, but we're not necessarily making lower lows. We're finding a obvious support. So I know when I get to 21.1 to 21,000, I want to pump the brakes in the short term, unless I have a big signal as to why I should not be pumping the brakes. Okay. So again, what we're looking at right there. And then a few other parts of what I look for are some of the key levels that are established here, going beyond that as well. And I deleted some of them already, but again, we'll just go in here. Okay. And obviously, if you're in Discord, we have these literally posted every single day, either in my channel or Jordan's watch list. So again, I recommend that you check it out. Again, you just go up every morning before market open. It is there for you. I literally give you my expectation for the market and what's happening there. So again, you can see the levels that are playing out there. And I even covered the 50 SMA, which the 50 SMA is also something I would watch, but it's not as important as the 200s, just so you know. Okay. So again, what would we be paying attention for here? Number one, we'd be watching that 21.5, 21.3. Now, for the sake of this, I'm going to just do the most realistic, and this is the most recent example. Okay. I didn't include this on the indicators, but again, I just don't, it's not something you're going to use all the time. Okay. But we're going to use the 50 SMA here as well. All this is your last 50 daily candles, the average. So you can see that as well. Okay. And so what is happening here, and this is what I was telling Discord, and this 21.3 level wasn't even that major. It's not even that big of a level because it's not a swing high. The levels that I was using back here, I just want to verify as well for you guys as well of what we said here. We said if you can break over the 50 SMA, we're moving back to 21.5 over and looking right there. If we break back down, look for 2100 to 22, as you can see there. Okay, so what are we looking at here? And again, why are we looking for that 2200 level? Is because that's where we've been testing overall, this zone back here. And we can draw it out a little bit, further if we need to, whatever it may be. And then you can also see one more thing here as well, right? So this is another really big thing right now. So you can also see, if you go to like the 2 hour, you can see you're actually forming a demand zone down here as well before you popped up, which is another thing that I would have been watching as well. And we were watching this in Discord. You ended up wicking below, but we'll go into that here in a sec. Okay, so what I typically do, I draw all my information, what I'm looking at, basically the graph for the day, the roadmap, everything like that, right? Now, when I'm looking at that, we start the day. It's important that we know, again, people are going to say the action's trash. To an extent, it is trash. But I want to mark out where the day starts, 8:30 a.m. I always recommend trading New York session. It's the best session you can trade. I don't care what anyone says, okay? Basically, the day starts right there. That's the start of the day. We'll just highlight this right here, okay, just so we know. Now, from the start of the day, we knew off rip the most important level is what's happening at that 50 SMA. It trumps what's happening at our key level of 21.5. So we know a few things. Like I said, if we can mount this level, and we're just looking for a 5-minute, 15-minute mount of this. What we look for the upside was a break, retest, and continuation. It doesn't have to be a crazy upside. It can be whatever, right? We're just looking for a mount and hold at that level with action, and we'll go into volume, things along those lines, right? But what happens here? One, rejecting. This is on a 5-minute time. This is not high time frames. We're rejecting. So even if you miss your first entry, even if you miss your second entry, you had multiple opportunities here. And that's the important thing of what's happening. You can even bring in what's happening down here with volume really quick. Let me stretch this out. Pause. Go back. Okay. So you can even see here with volume what is taking place. Now, right here, this is, again, quick examples based off of volume. So you have multiple signals here. Number one, on the bounce back up, you're declining with volume, which is fine. But you're seeing an increase of sellers at highs and buyers as well. So volume peaks, right? Sellers step in, sellers increase all the way back down, shooting us back down to lows. Again, as well, back down to that overall range, which again, back into daily lows. The only surprising part here is that sellers didn't get you. You broke through pre-market lows and you actually just bounced back up. So that'd been the weirdest action right there. But ultimately, you bounce back into that overall 50 SMA. And you see it happens again. Guess what happens? Sellers increase their volume here as you go back. Even though it's declining, volume is still increasing. Going into that as well. It happens over and over and over again throughout the day there. So those are multiple signals of getting into a decent trade. Now, again, what's required here? It's really a lot of patience. I'll say this over and over again, is that most people don't want to sit there. Most people don't want to be patient. This is predominantly how most of these trades play out, right? They want to trade the chop. They missed their entry. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to get in right here. And then your risk reward is skewed and it's minimal, right? And that's the biggest part for me when I'm looking at anything, right? Is being patient. And I say this all the time too. And so people in Discord too, as of recently, it's been less and less overall trades just the past 2 weeks. And if you look at the action of what's happening here, as well, it makes logical sense of why you want to take less trades. We've been trading clearly to the upside. It's been beautiful, just straight continuation. And even on some of these dips, you've still got a nice continuation on some other tech names. But now you're just kind of slowing down dramatically here. Your range is obviously it's just tightening, right? So you're getting less and less volatility, right? Just you can clearly overall see, right? There's not as big of a range. It's tighter and tighter and tighter. Going into Friday, very tight range as well. So it's just about taking what's in front of you, taking what you can get. Very important, right? So, dude, I got J-Rod trades. Dear God, gotta put him in timeout. Put him in timeout. He said, "Can't make a video. Gotta interrupt. Put user in timeout." So again, very important to understand that as well. Now, I always say break and mount. So I don't know how the mount is I don't know how it's super confusing. Okay. So if I'm looking at anything regarding trades or anything like that, you have to have clear cut stops. I will say that you don't just want to ride it to the next overall level and pray you get lucky. So even if I'm going like short here, for instance, this is my risk compared to your risk might be different. So I don't like to put someone in a box compared to what I'm doing. I know some people will open up their risk and they want to swing trade more and they're willing to having a larger overall stop or something like that, right? So again, that is up to you. Rule of thumb for me is either pre-market highs or the previous little swing highs. So if I'm going short here, again, this is too far for me, right? So if I zoom in really quick, that's like 50 points of a short or of a stop loss. To me, that's a little crazy. So I would be really watching like what's happening overall here. And I would have to mainly watch the overall action and trying to wait for an overall mount back to the upside. Now, necessarily for me, I wouldn't even target all the way back down, especially with futures. I usually target that midpoint or where you're seeing some of these other swing lows and I start scaling out pretty quick. Because again, with futures, my goal is not to make $5,000 a day, like across one account, right? It's across 5, maybe even 7 accounts, depending if I'm using multiple brokers on the same trade, right? So very important to understand that. So this would be a more difficult overall trade to have a clear-cut stop. This is why I always say, though, too, when it comes to trading, and for me, I don't know how I can trade futures and not be staring at my chart and sitting at my desk. It's a very, very, very difficult thing to do. So again, it's not going to always be clear cut of setting your stop here, getting wicked out, things like that. I'm constantly watching the action and what's actually taking place there. This is a great example as well. You kind of push up, you reject down, you push back up, false breakout, and you push back down, right? So again, it's important to understand that. And I'm not here to tell you that everything's going to be picture perfect at all points in times. But again, the overall map of what you're looking for should be pretty consistent, right? Even though you get a bigger wick here, it's very consistent in what we've traded the entire day, right? Go over questions here as well. Do you use volume tape, level 2 data? I'm assuming that's what you mean, but we'll see. Are you close to already answer that one? So question, say you have one mini contract just above a key level. What's your thought process on setting your stop loss after you feel that appropriate hold amount has been made? So again, I think this is the hardest part of trading and the part of trading that I don't think that you can teach. Okay. And again, this is just total honesty. I don't think I think it's very difficult to try to teach someone how to be responsible with their trading, when to take their profits, when to stop out, things along those lines. Because this is a great example, right? You get a wake up and you come back down. If I'm watching that in real time, I would quickly understand that this was a fake out. You didn't even hold this for, I think, 10 minutes. Yeah. This was a 2-minute time, like 2 minutes, like not even, right? You go up for like 30 seconds, 1 minute passes, boom, and then you drop back down. Like very simple to see. There's no clear continuation. Seller step back in. So very important to understand that. I like always having some wiggle room beyond that as well. Now, I can use a case of like Tesla. This is an interesting case in my opinion. Just because the level is so clear here, right, on Tesla, okay? So Tesla is a great example. The big level here on Tesla is 414.8, whatever it may be. If you mount this level on a 5-minute time frame and you're just sitting above it, I would get out of the trade immediately if I'm going short, right? So let's say hypothetically I am net short right here, and my stop, let's say I put my stop loss at 416.5 because I want to protect myself and I'm targeting 407, okay? If you start getting above this level on Tesla and you start just getting, let's say, just for hypotheticals, you start moving like this and you just start sitting here, even though you haven't hit my stop, I'd get out of the trade because you're mounting that overall level, right? So it's understanding how that action is moving and what you're getting there, right? And so me just telling you, okay, one stop's up here, that's where I would set it, 1.5% above, whatever it may be. It's not necessarily true in all cases because you're getting the amount of that overall level. And I would be willing to bet that you're going to bounce through that as well, right? So again, worth mentioning. And then it's like, well, would you get back in the trade? I'm like, if you started mounting back below 414.5, I'd probably trade it one more time to the downside. If it's just chopped back and forth, I'd be done with the trade for the overall day. But that's how I'd approach that. So again, I wish there was a way to give you a finite answer of saying, our binary answer, yes or no. Like that's this is what's going to happen in every case, but that isn't the truth. And that's why I try to always explain in the videos. It's about interpreting the data that's in front of you to the best of your ability and to give you that edge in everything that you're doing. So that's the really important part of what you're trying to do. Timing someone out for a question as well. Don't make a live stream where your audience can ask questions just to find he asked the audience a question regarding his channel. What are you talking about? Rear, guys, look, again, as you can see here, most of the things that I'm doing are based upon logic, right? Logic, reaction, interpreting the information in a rational point of view. Rear, obviously, you seem like a retarded individual. It's a holiday. I still got my Christmas tree up. I'm trying to be in a good mood, but you seem retarded. I'm gonna leave you in chat because I want to see your retarded response again. But yeah, nice one. So good one, buddy. He said, I went to my burner account. I'm trying to start a new trading YouTube. Can't make my own videos. There we go. Dear God, like what? He said he's asking a question, Tyler. I'm like, what are you talking about? He literally asked a question regarding he asked Chad a random question regarding his trading channel. The fuck? Fucking bozo. Oh, he said it was me. Hey, boys, look, there's a few things in life that I'm good at. And I am good at seeing the future. And I knew this boy was him. Again, Rear, absolute bozo, certified lover boy, certified idiot. We love that guy so much. Would it be more beneficial to trade MNQ so you can scale efficiently? This is a good question, Matt. Yes. So this is what I would say about trading micros versus minis. Okay. And again, I'll be making a video going over micros, minis. I don't want to make the video, but I'm going to make the video. I'm going to make the video for tomorrow. Okay. A to Z. I'm going to use Topstep as an example because it's just really, really simple. And I don't actually do a lot of charting on Tradovate, but Topstep makes some of the stuff really simple. So I'll explain it. Right. Anyways, so micros versus minis. Okay. Obviously, gosh, I was avoiding going too in detail with some of this today. So and just I guess like just the number value of stuff. So yes, if you're obviously, let me give you a for instance. If I'm trading for anyone that doesn't know, you're risking more by trading one contract of minis compared to trading 5 contracts of micros, right? So in theory, if I'm trading, and I'm looking for a 10-point move, let's say we're going from 21,330 into 20. I guess technically that'd be each point would be a tick, so it'd be a 40-point move, I guess, in theory. But let's say I'm trying to trade 10 points overall on Nasdaq from 21,330 to 21,340. If I'm trading minis, this would be a $200 value move, right? From point A to point B, right? That's one mini contract. Now let's hypothetically say I trade one micro, okay? In that case, this would only be a $20 value move. So you're able to basically I explain to people it's like buying fractional shares, right? So 10 micros equals one mini, to give you a food for thought. So if you do want to size down, if you have a smaller account and you want to overall if you're trying to learn, I think micros are probably a better viewpoint for you. And I would scale between probably like 5. So every 10-point move is about $100. It should protect you as well. So that's my point of view. Good question, Matt. I think that is the move, especially for beginners. I would say that. The hard part, though, is just, and I would do that after you're funded. Again, I am very I'm very on the fence about how you scale in, even if you're a beginner, you should be scaling down a little bit. You should be, no matter what. So yeah. Micros for swing trading. Well, I think swing trading and futures is a little bit different than swing trading necessarily in like stocks, for instance. Like I'm swing trading stocks, like I'm holding for a few days. I'm swing trading in futures, like I mean, I don't hold. I obviously funded accounts, you can't hold anything overnight, but like I'm not. I wouldn't want to hold anything overnight for the most part. For the most part, but yeah. More times to look at in the market between 8:30 and 4 can be a time of day to be added. Are you asking which times do I like, Robbie? Is that your question? I can't tell if that's your question or not. Let me know what your question exactly is. But yeah. And also, too, guys, we will be giving a I'm going to let you know right now, people aren't going to be happy about this, but there's just too many bots. I've already realized it's a lot of bots, so it's not fair. But if you're following on Twitter, we're going to be doing another giveaway this weekend. I'll post it tomorrow. And if we hit 10K followers on Twitter, I'll double the giveaway. We'll see what happens, right? We're probably not going to hit 10K followers, but maybe we do. Anyways, I'll be doing the giveaway for people that are verified on Twitter. You have to have a check mark. I'm sorry, it's like $8, whatever. I don't know. But like I'm getting too many bots. Like these people, I have like Sanjay Gupta on here, and like Sanjay Gupta never followed me. Yeah. Anyways, what times do you like throughout the day? Okay, so good question regarding times of the day. I'm not totally against trading Asia session or London. I think London's actually pretty good, the trading session. That's like 1 a.m. to like 3 a.m. Central, the prime trading hours for that. But all my times are going to be Central, just so you know. If I am trading for the New York Open, right, I don't necessarily love trading the first 30 minutes of the market. It's just really volatile, and things could go wrong for you. So if I'm trading that time frame, I would size down probably by 50%, no matter what you're doing. You can still make good money, but if you're wrong, you could be really wrong. So I like between like 9:30 through 11:30 are those times I really like, and then the end of the day around 1 to maybe 3. So like that lunchtime, I typically like just don't like the action. You might get your reversals in that time frame, but yeah. But again, it's very much depicted on the person, and I think that's very important for everyone. And like one of my downfalls of my trading, I'll be very like honest, transparent. I like letting a trade play out, right? So like for instance, like this for me, like the 50 SMA seeing us reject here, like for me, I will let that share ride, right? Probably too long for the most part. I usually will, because I like to let my trade have some time. The longer you let a trade play out, the higher percent chance, in my opinion, you'll have some success. But when you're wrong, you could really be wrong. So that's the really important part. So trading those first 30 minutes, you see a lot of back and forth. And so it just puts me in a really tough position, to where like based on my trading that I could really put myself in a bad position. Right. Feel like Bruce, I don't know what this means. The first sentence, I don't mean we in a sell the pop market right now. Bruce, I don't know if you know what you're on right now, but best of luck, brother. He said, I saw this was an education. I'm gonna ask random questions. I know you made a YouTube video yesterday, but screw it. Shout out to Option Drops. Love it so much. But yeah, so important to understand that as well. I think we've answered a lot of the big questions I thought we would have. So yeah. Is there any other big questions as well? We've already been here. It's crazy. We've already been here for like 50 minutes. Like I said too, if you're completely new to futures, I'll be doing a pretty big breakdown. I don't know how long the video is going to be. I'm dreading it, to be honest. I probably won't do any edits. I don't want to. So I'll probably just make it like a turn and burn and just turn it on and get going. Sell the pop. You know what that means, aka stop goes up and sells off. No, I'm saying he's not speaking English. Feel like we in a sell the pop market right now. I speak proper English. I'm not the grammar police. So yeah. Also, too, I have no idea what he's talking about. If you look at the daily market, the daily chart, the market as a whole. So I feel like we in the sell the pop market. So the market, for instance, since August has basically gone straight up. So I don't know what you're talking about. If you go into the 2-hour time, so again, I don't know why people try to like get attitude and like whatever, but like, yeah. Also, you know, the 2-hour chart here from the 9th through basically the 7th here of Tuesday, we kind of did nothing. Nothing really happened. And then also to sell the pop. I mean, if you're considering this, most of your pops last a little bit longer than the downtrend as well here. But yeah, you've only really had some downside since the 16th, maybe. But also too, selling the pop, your risk to reward is getting worse and worse and worse. This is very important to understand as well. So let's just hypothetically say, so at first, if you had downside here, which obviously you're not going to try to time the top, but let's just hypothetically say that would have been a better trade. And then you get to here, and guess what? It gets worse. And then guess what? It gets worse. And then even now, it's going to get worse. So that's what's happening right now. So yeah, I'm just quickly explaining. And again, it's important because typically when we like to be the smart guy in the room all the time and, you know, this and that. But if you just pay attention to most of the stuff, I just literally just explained everything that I just pointed out to you, Game Boy Tommy. Lay off the Game Boy, pay more attention to the charts. Because like I said, again, one of the first things I covered was happening here within the chart. So it's very important that you listen, right? This is what I tell my son all the time. We were trying to learn how to tie his shoes. And I was like, you just got to listen, man. You got to listen when I tell you to go under and cross. Simple stuff. Your ABC, you just got to listen, right? So Game Boy Tommy, my son, he just turned 7. And I just tell him, you got to listen. So for you, maybe journaling and listening could be your New Year's resolution. So yeah, selling the pop. I have no idea. I have no idea why you would say we're going to sell the pop market right now, personally. Yeah, so I just went over exactly what you were saying about candles, what you'd be looking for as well. If you want to see better, I'm trying to understand how you can see better for instances on that question. I literally spent the time, went over your answer. Big Deli. So yeah, I can go back to your question. I'm pretty sure I covered it pretty well off the 50 SMA there, for an example. Fake outs. I went over that one as well. As far as setting stops, what I'd be looking for, letting trades ride out, how you can, you know, obviously let trades ride too long. But yeah, 1 second here. I have a phone call from my child's school. Okay, well, I have to end the stream here. School emergency for my son. But yeah, I plan on doing these more often, and I plan on doing morning streams sooner than later as well here. But yeah, you have one specific setup that you focus on, or do you have strategies of different setups? Again, most of the setups and what I'm looking for is all based around key levels of getting good reactions and good reactions and rejections. So again, I think Friday paints a very clear picture of like the 50 SMA here, right? Of how you're moving right there, how you're consistently rejecting. That is what you really want to see, right? That is a great sign of weakness, of what you would love to see. Over and over and over. Those wicks are what really give you the answer once you have a key level, SMA, whatever you're looking for. Have a good one, guys. I'll be back again. Appreciate it.